Chapter 107. Amon Pove. As the massive explosion was about to take place, I took back my hand from Kizaru's body and started to teleport miles away from the spot. The explosion then happened, engulfing the whole sky. Albeit its devastating outlook, it looked beautiful nonetheless. I immediately boosted my observation to the highest degree. My current range, mixed with Goro Goro, is 300 kilometers radius. It was to solely sense any trace of Kizaru. I dare say I have the highest range of observation in the world. Before I could praise myself some more, I felt a presence coming towards me at a speed out of my league. Yata, Eneonka, Ageanemi. I couldn't even follow his voice. He was that fast. The presence didn't touch me. He just passed by my side, going towards the blue sea below. Though going by my side wasn't a good idea, I would say. I looked below. A trail of light was quickly passing through the world. It passed my 300 kilometers range in less than a second. I was speechless. As expected, Kizaru had ways to run, but he didn't have ways to fight. Kizaru, as I found after reading his mind, can't think at the speed of light. His thinking process ends at his base. Mui vinci, innovikaimi. Yes, even at elemental form, he still can't think that fast. Not only him, but even my Goro no Mi doesn't allow me to think as fast as lightning, not at all, or the canon NL would have been OPA than he was shown. I can only think fast since I've modern world knowledge which Anil didn't have. Human thinking speed is based on our brain neurons' data traveling speed. And since neurons use electricity to do everything, I can boost it by using my own electricity. However, that isn't the case for Kizaru. This time, when he just went past me, I could feel that he wasn't able to see or think anything. He was just going forward. Like this, he will probably hit the sea somewhere in the blues. With a restriction like that, fighting in his base is better than transforming. Not only that, after he transforms into light, he would start reflecting on every surface around him, losing control and eventually dying. Unfortunately, he seemed to have trained quite a lot to at least control the reflecting problem to a degree. That's the reason he was able to choose to go towards the sea's surface. Man. Sigh. I tried to finish the fight as fast as possible, but Kizaru was able to survive the explosion. It should be because of his body being light itself. That's why in his fight with Z, he survived a similarly massive island explosion. I have some single-person attacks rather than this O explosion, but Kizaru is too fast for me to try them on him. I just wanted to kill him as fast as possible. It seems I failed. However, I laughed. I failed to kill him, but I didn't fail to injure him to a terrible degree. I raised my hand. In my hand, there was a bloodied arm, a severed arm wearing the sleeves of a yellow suit. It was a mistake to think I would sit still while you just go past me like that. Even in his fast state, I grabbed his light body and snatched his arm with hockey. He was too fast for his own bad. He lost his arm like nothing. Well, I guess this is it. He survived by pure luck. But that hole in his chest is 100% real. Let's see how long he survives. Though I'm sure he probably has a healing factor too. Sad. General POV cough. TSK. That bastard. On an isolated island, at the destroyed shore, a bloodied man was sitting against a tree. He was wearing a yellow suit and only had one hand. He was Kizaru. Kizaru was about to hit the sea, but he was barely able to control himself to land on this island. Though in response, the island was mostly destroyed. Currently, Kizaru had his only hand touching his chest. His chest was glowing. It will take a while for me to heal. Indeed, he can increase his healing speed as well, gaining a pseudo-healing factor. Kizaru made an angry face, something which is rarely done by him. This will eat up a lot of my life force, around 10 years. His eyes glowed. I will definitely get back for this. Kizaru's frown deepened. Tears clicking his tongue again. Kizaru looked for a den mushi in his pockets, but there weren't any. It seems the snails got caught in the explosion. Clicking his tongue again, Kizaru kept lying down. He decided to rest until the wound heals completely. It will take a few days. It's a fatal wound, after all. Though even with his healing factor, he won't be able to get his hand back. He was one step away from being completely donated. In the upper yard, the alabaster guest was in a highly guarded room. Cobra was in the room, sitting beside Vivi. Vivi, why the long face? You are fine now, aren't you? He said. I will complain to Lucifer about that girl, so don't worry, all right? Vivi had her head down, her eyes dull. Don't, father. It's my fault. She even saved my life, she whispered. I don't have any shame left to demand anything. Please leave me alone for a while, she said while her hands were clutching the bedsheet. Cobra refused to leave her alone, but a presence appeared there. It's fine, father-in-law. I will look after her. You can go outside. It was Amon, whose voice rang inside Vivi's ears. His previous words about her arm chirped in her mind. Vivi hesitated to ask Cobra to stay, but it was too late. By then, Cobra was already talking with Amon. Son-in-law, you are here. Vivi was lowering her head, avoiding Amon's gaze, who was staring at her face. A few minutes passed like that. Sigh, Amon sighed. Listen, girl. You must not remember our previous encounters. You were young. But listen here. I will warn you this once. Amon grabbed Vivi by her jaws and made her look into his eyes. If something like this ever happens, and if, for you, my people get hurt, you will definitely pay. Gulp. Vivi gulped while her eyes shook, looking at the bloody eyes of Amon. She pulled some strength towards her throat. Let asterisk slap. Asterisk Amen cut her by slapping her in the right cheek. Slap. Amen slapped her again in the left cheek. Slap. Amen slapped her in the right cheek. Vivi was having wide eyes. Slap. Slapping for the last time. Amen stopped as Vivi fell silent with her cheeks red. Tears were falling. Her body was shaking. She almost wet herself. She was too scared of things. Like that, a few minutes passed. Amon was still grabbing Vivi by her mouth. Vivi looked down, avoiding eye contact. Her eyes were still shaking a little. I understand. I won't do anything stupid anymore. This was the first time anyone slapped her. Although she did fight and received punches, slaps were new to her, so she was easily subdued. Amon nodded. It's nice seeing you understand. Don't expect me to treat you like how your father does. That said, he quickly freed her. Things might change if you act like a good girl. I might start loving you. Our relationship will progress brightly, a child in the future. Then one day they will be married and we will be grandparents. The kingdom of Alabaster will progress along with us, and thus we might become actual soul partners. When that happens, I will care about you the most. My people will come second, you will come first. I'm not saying if, I'm saying when. After saying all that with a straight face, Amon glanced at the surprised Vivi before getting up from the bed. Don't worry too much about what you did. I know you did it for the Skypiean's sake. He nodded towards her. I would be grateful to you, but please be careful. Vivi was a little surprised seeing his sudden change, but she was too scared to question anything. Yes, I will be careful. Vivi whispered while averting her gaze. Amon just walked away, ignoring her. While walking, he stated one last time, I will talk with the king to proceed with the marriage soon. though I'm not sure if he will agree after what happened to the celestial dragons. Amon walked away while his hand was resting on the sword on his waist. Meanwhile, then, what should we do with them? In the upper yard, the pirates and marines were all captured, shackled with sea stone handcuffs. Most of the marines died in battle, but the pirates survived mostly. The Shandians would have normally killed the people who tried to harm their own, but Amon seemingly didn't want this to happen, like an automata had stated. Issa was among the people surrounding the invaders. Her gaze was cold. Killing them would be fine. After all, they did attack us first. They killed 50 of our people, Issa said with a shaky voice, while some of the people behind nodded. Beside her, a child was standing. He seemed to make a sad face because of his mother's words. Meanwhile, Raki was standing just there, leaning against a wall. "Don't do anything yet," she yawned. "Brother is coming soon." Just as she said this, something flashed in the bright sky. ZZZZ. Amon teleported in front of everyone, walking towards them. He raised his left hand. "Yo, it's been a while, everyone." "Oh haha, it's Gummy. Summer." Everyone seemed ecstatic seeing him. They knew the cause of the explosion was him. After all, who could make such a big explosion other than him? Meanwhile, Amon's right hand had the severed arm of the Yellow Admiral. He kept this in the sky while meeting Vivi. Instantly, the first to run towards him was the priest Sumi. "My lord," she stopped in front of Amon. "Why are you carrying that thing? Give that to me, I will throw it away." Amon stared at her for a second before shaking his head in his mind. Normally, the one to run would have been Yona, but she was unconscious, so Sumi was taking the chance. Nonetheless, he gave her the hand. "Don't throw it, it's precious." Sumi's eyes widened. Why?" "Yes," she bowed and backed away. Amon then kept walking forward towards Issa. Smiling at her, he stood beside her. "It's been a while, Auntie. Did you miss me?" Sigh. Issa sighed and inspected his body, looking for any injury. "You were fine, even though there was that explosion." Amon chuckled. "What do you think?" He took a glance at everyone. "I'm strong. Such a puny explosion won't harm me." "Well, I'm not surprised." The hidden worry within her eyes vanished. "Take some rest. You must be exhausted. The talking can be done later." While they were talking, every marine was looking at Kizaru's hand. They had one thought: impossible. The severed hand must mean Kizaru died in the explosion. Issa's son, Kana Pove. "I'm strong. Such a puny explosion won't harm me. This is the man who left when I was a newborn. I remember it because of my photographic memory. People around said he's God, but I used to believe otherwise, since gods are supposed to be just myths. But after seeing the things that happened today, after seeing the war take a complete turn after this single dude arrived, I don't have any doubts. It may be that he isn't the god from the myths, but he surely has the power to bear that title for fun. How interesting living beings are. I wonder how it would feel like to dissect him. Rats and animals aren't fun. I need to dissect a human. He would be purr. Just now, I felt a heavy glare on my back. As I abruptly looked, it was that woman named Raki. Her eyes were seemingly glowing. "Oh, Issa." Suddenly, the man called for my mother. "Can I spend some time with Kana later? I would like to play with my brother a little. I have a bad feeling about this." "Amen, Pove." I glanced at the little shit with a smile. I would like to wash up his memory of me, haha. I would feel sad if he can't recall me. Issa punched my arms lightly. "Fine, do whatever you want. You just talked with me for a minute, and already want to go after him." You auntie only deserves 1 minute of your busy time. I laughed a little, hearing her. Fine, I will have a chat with you for a while more. As I said this, I can see the little shit sighing. I have hypnotized him to obey me and see me as his master from a young age. But the effect wore off, since I look different than before, and also the fact that it's been quite a long time. Nonetheless, it will take a single attempt to help him regain who he really is and who is where he stands. But I have to say, the medicines had quite the effect on him. He has that passion of a mad scientist. As I started to chuckle, I felt a hand on my shoulders. The scent of flowers was strong from her hand. Lucy, let's talk. It was Robin. She is making a surprisingly serious face. I shrugged. Well, fine. General POV, Robin was hugging Amon tightly while he was stroking her hair. Is there anything, Robin? Amon asked while enjoying her soft body. It's nothing, Robin stated while her face was resting on his chest. I missed you. As a few seconds passed, Amon smirked. You are too soft for me, love. I know. Minutes passed like that, as the dim light of the room shined on their body. Finally, Robin cancelled the hug. Ahem, this wasn't the thing I wanted to about. It really is something serious, she said. Amon whispered in her ears. Ask me anything, I will answer. Saying this, he jumped on the soft bed and kept lying on his back. The fight was quite tiring, and then there was his talk with Vivi. It is about the prisoners. Robin also sat on the bed. What plans do you have for them? Robin knew this is a sensitive topic. That's why she brought Amon here. Let's not kill them. Robin frowned in suspicion. Taking lives is meaningless when the war has already ended. Humans are such confused creatures. I'm sure the pirates will turn a new leaf if we let them go. Quite yapping. This is a serious topic, don't joke. Amon crackled up, seeing Robin interrupting him. But he was telling the truth. No, I'm serious. I won't kill them. I have plans. He turned around in the bed and placed his head in Robin's lap. Killing them is useless. I gain nothing. Looking down at his clear eyes, Robin frowned. Yes, but if you keep them alive, they might hold a grudge, she said. After all, many of their comrades were killed by us. Amon glanced at Robin for a moment. She has grown perfectly. He opened his lips. Indeed, that's the case. But I have ways. If controlling someone's neuron is possible, brainwashing them and making them a loyal pawn is also possible. He kept looking at Robin as a smile bloomed on his face. Bring me the woman named Heine in this room. I will show you what I'm talking about. Robin just looked at him with a given-up face. She soon left to get Heine.